Building muscle consistently can be a simple process at times. That is why you always need to be increasing your volume for workouts, training intensely, and have a surplus of calories to grow. Now, the hard part is building muscle but keeping your body fat percentage low at the same time. Now, I want to cover two main topics in this video. And the first is I want to teach you the correct process or formula to building muscle while keeping your body fat percentage as low as possible. And the second is I want to teach you why you must clean bulk and not dirty bulk, and explain to you the reasons why it is important to be eating good quality foods instead of stuffing your face with basically anything you want. A lot of people believe the off-season meaning the period where you are no longer looking to drop fat and want to start building muscle, is a time to relax on the diet. And as long as you are keeping your calories up, you are still going to grow. Yes, that is true, but you're missing out on so much gains because of the quality of food you are eating. A lot of people also believe that a calorie is just a calorie and they're all the same, whether they come from good foods or bad foods. You are still consuming the same amount of calories on a daily basis. Your body is still in a calorie surplus and you are still going to be growing. Yes, this is also true to an extent, but I will explain why your off-season or your muscle building period must be done properly with good quality foods. Building muscle through food is a very similar process to dropping fat through through food, but it is switched the other way around. You need to come up with an original starting diet, which is called your base diet. And the very first thing you need to take into consideration is the amount of meals you are consuming on a daily basis. Your original starting diet for a male should contain at least 6 to 8 meals and for a female, you should contain at least 4 to 6 meals. You might think eating 7 or 8 times a day is a lot, and you can cram that amount of food into 3 or 4 meals, but you don't want to do that. Eating on a more frequent basis is the very first step in building muscle while staying lean, and probably the most important step because it kickstarts the process and is going to maximize how well your muscles absorb the food and stop you from storing fat, because you will be in a state of anabolic instead of catabolic, which is when you go for 3 through 4 hours without a high protein meal. This causes your body to burn muscle for fuel instead of fat. Your body has to process food on 7 different occasions. It is working in overdrive to send those nutrients to where they need to go. You are feeding your muscles good quality food constantly throughout the day, and your muscles are going to repair so much faster by eating more frequently. Remember, you are not building muscle while you are in the gym. You are building muscle while you are recovering from your workouts. When you are eating and when you are sleeping is when your muscles are growing. So without food and without adequate amounts of sleep, you are not going to put on any size. Eating more frequently is going to ensure your body is functioning at its best all of the time. Your muscles are being fed good nutrients throughout the entire day, and this is literally one and only way to increase the speed of your metabolism and maximize muscle recovery. Whether you are dieting to lose fat or, in this case, build muscle, each and every one of your 7 to 8 meals you must contain a protein. If you have a meal with just carbs and fat, it is a waste of time. It is not going to have any benefit at all on your body. All it's going to do is make you fat. So make sure all of the meals you eat must contain some form of protein. When you set out to build muscle and start your off season, it needs to be for a set period of time. The reason I do a 16-week program is because building or growing for 16 weeks is more than enough time for you to put on some serious size while keeping your body fat to a minimum. The process I'm going to explain to you is actually very simple. It is very easy to follow, but I do have to emphasize that this process only works if you are training at extremely high intensity in the gym. You can eat all the food in the world, but if you aren't breaking those muscles down in the gym, you are not creating any tears in the muscle. The glycogen in the muscle stays full, and you will get fat through, and the nutrients won't be absorbed. You must be killing your workouts, which is the enjoyable part. And then the food, let it do its thing, and you will grow at an incredible rate while staying as lean as possible. So here it is. Minimum of 6 meals for a guy, 4 meals for a female. You can do more if you think you are capable of it and have that time. In all 6 or 4 meals, you want to have protein and carbs. And 2 of the meals you want to contain good quality fats. But what we are going to be focusing on is the carb intake. When I am dieting to build muscle, my protein and my fats stay in the same throughout the entire process. The carbs are the only thing that changes when it comes to dieting to build muscle. If you find you are not growing fast enough, you can add more good quality fats into your meals. But your original starting diet, your base diet, should always contain a good amount of fats from the very start. When you start the lean bulk, you have protein in all 6 meals, and you have carbs in all 6 meals, and the fats stay the same from the start to finish in 2 of your meals. In week 1 of the bulk, you are on the absolute minimum amount of food you can be. You still want carbs in all 6 meals to keep the metabolism firing, but only a small amount of carbs is required in the first week or 2. You will more than likely not be building any muscle during this period, which is fine. All you want to do is monitor your weight on this low amount of food and wait till it stabilizes. You will not lose muscle by doing this. Your protein is still very high. You may drop a little bit of fat, which will result in the scales dropping, but what we are looking for is your body to become accustomed to the lowest amount of food possible, and you want your weight on the scale to stabilize. Once your body weight has stabilized from the lowest amount of food you will be consuming for the entire 16-week period is when you know you can start the muscle building process, and that you are going to see some serious results. Once your body weight has stabilized, you increase the amount of carbs in one of your meals because you let your body weight stabilize and become accustomed to that low amount of food. Once you add in more carbs, you will start to build muscle off of that. Let's say, at a guess, you put on 0.5 of a pound after you first increase your carbs. The week after that, you increase carbs in another meal, you put on another half of a pound. The week after that, you increase carbs in another meal, and you put on a full pound. Can you see where I'm going with this? Each week, you gradually add some carbs. You will grow, add some carbs, and then you will grow again. If you follow this process for 16 weeks, increasing your carbs on a weekly basis, you will literally be getting bigger by the week. I told you, it is a very simple process, easy to follow, and a very effective way to build muscle while keeping your body fat low. However, there are 2 things you need to look out for if you increase your food 1 week and your weight goes up by, let's say, more than 2 pounds. The week after that, you can't increase your carbs. So if your weight does go up more than 2 pounds, you are not allowed to increase the next week because that is how you start getting fat. If you start adding carbs in at a crazy rate and your weight is just skyrocketing week after week, you know that is not a realistic amount of muscle you are putting on. Therefore, it has to be some body fat as well. You want to monitor your weight every week. You want good, consistent, gradual gains. But you just need to be careful and monitor it properly because if your weight is going up too fast, you need to slow the carb increases down. On the other end of the scale, for hard gainers or people who find it really hard to put on size, you might increase your carbs and your weight doesn't increase at all. So what you need to do is, once again, monitor your weight. If it increases, all good. Increase your carbs again. If your weight doesn't increase, then increase your carbs intake even more next time. If it doesn't increase again, then increase your carbs even more until you get to the stage your weight is on the scale is increasing on a weekly basis by 0.5 or a pound. No one is genetically incapable of building muscle. It is harder for some people than it is for others, but I promise you, once you find the right amount of food and you keep increasing your carbs intake on a weekly basis, you will keep growing. Make sure you are eating from good sources like sweet potatoes, whole wheat pasta, lean meats, fats from avocados, or natural peanut butter. We will have a grocery list of foods you should be consuming. These foods are packed with vitamins and minerals, which will help your body with the recovery process. So over a long period of time, like 16 weeks, which is 112 days, the amount of growth and recovery and impact the vitamins and minerals will have on the repair and the growth of your muscles is going to be huge. Just make sure you work hard, do things properly, train with hardcore passion and intensity, get those meals in, increase the carbs week by week, and I promise you, you will get big very fast. And this is the best way to keep the fat off while building muscle.